So, Titanic is back in theaters in time for its 25th anniversary, and if you want to know if you should take your girlfriend or the homies to check out this cinematic masterpiece on the big screen, well, let's get into it. Hello friends, and welcome back to the Brockopp side, a place to live talking by movies. And real quick, if you have checked out this movie before, go and comment down below your first experience checking out Titanic, whether it be back in 1997 in theaters, or on TV, or this coming weekend, or even if it's on the superior method, the 2 VHS set which everybody in the world has. But without further ado, let's start talking about the movie. Now, I've seen Titanic a handful of times in the past, but getting to see it this past weekend on the big screen really cemented my thoughts on it. The movie tells such a beautiful yet ultimately tragic love story about a guy who's this free spirit who can go wherever he wants to, with this woman from higher society who is just constantly shackled down by her family's expectations of her. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, of course, have amazing chemistry with each other. It's, of course, juxtaposed by one of the greatest tragedies of the 20th century, so of course the movie does become a disaster film for the last hour. But even when the ship starts to sink and crumble apart, flood, sparks everywhere, the movie doesn't for a second forget about the human element, to where it's just so damn visceral and heartbreaking seeing nearly 2,000 people die in such a horrible way. Also, Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On really doesn't help make it any less tragic. But what is so darn special about the IMAX 3D, I know you're asking? Well, hold your horses, I was getting there. So, what exactly is so darn special about this IMAX 3D re-release? Well, it features a brand new 4K transfer of the movie with a high frame rate, much like Avatar's re-release back in September. Now, this isn't the first time Titanic has been re-released and remastered for the big screen. The first time was back in 2012, where it was released in IMAX 3D with a brand new 4K transfer then. It was then remastered again in 2017, this time in Dolby Vision, and now this time in 2023, the movie was re-released with a brand new 4K 3D, high dynamic range, high frame rate transfer. Remember that now. Now, of course, I didn't experience the first 2 re-releases, but this new transfer makes the movie look amazing, adding so much crisp detail to nearly every frame. There are a couple moments here and there where faces can be a little soft and washed out, but compared to the 4K transfer of Terminator 2, this is nothing. Of course, the detail is on full display with a massive IMAX screen, which I've said before can really immerse you into the world of a movie. One thing to note though is that I saw this in a different IMAX theater than the one I normally go to, because it was the only IMAX screen in my area that was actually showing it in IMAX 3D, which I thought was kind of weird. In fact, I nearly had the entire theater to myself last night. It was just me and some random middle-aged dude in one of the lower rows. He didn't even offer to hold hands or nothing. I mention this because this IMAX screen was a little bit on the smaller side compared to my normal IMAX screen I go to, so it wasn't necessarily the quote-unquote true IMAX experience. That being said, the larger format still worked wonderfully, and like I mentioned earlier, the movie does have a higher frame rate this time around, which I don't think I really noticed all that much compared to, say, the varying frame rates of Avatar 2, where it's like it'd be really smooth, then jagged, then smooth, then jagged, so on and so forth. So hopefully it won't be distracting for other people. When it comes to the 3D, it does add a nice level of depth to each scene without it feeling gimmicky. Of course, going back to Avatar for a moment, the 3D doesn't like suck you into this brand new alien world that you want to go back to over and over again for $3+ billion worth of tickets, but it still works wonders, mainly in the beginning where the dive team is investigating the sunken ship, and of course towards the end of the movie when the ship starts to actually sink, which looked incredible. That's thanks to a great combination of practical sets, miniatures, and some CGI to tie it all together. One little side note though is that IMAX re-releases like this can also emphasize a few imperfections in the movie. With this one, there are a couple moments with some rather obvious CGI rope. Yeah, rope. But I mean, if that's my only real gripe with it, then, you know, I think you can kind of connect the dots here a little bit. And I guess there's one more thing we gotta address, you know, could Jack have survived if Rose just scooted over a little bit on that damn floating door? And I don't frickin' know. The IMAX 3D experience did not answer any of those questions or make it any clearer. Besides, I mean, like, there was that part when they first put Rose on the door and they had, like, trouble balancing it and getting her on the door, so maybe the two of them would have, like, made it sink and then they would have, like, you know, both died and stuff. I don't know, okay? Overall, Titanic still holds up as an incredible feat in cinema that if you haven't seen by now, what the heck, dude? If you have the means and maybe just a slightly bigger IMAX screen, then absolutely give it a shot. Is it worth it? I would say yes. Yes, it is. Iceberg and all. So for the movie itself, I'm going to give it a gold unboxing machete, and for the IMAX experience, I'm gonna give that a silver unboxing machete. But if you want to know if checking out Avatar: The Way of Water in IMAX 3D is worth it, I got that video right over here. Otherwise, subscribe if you live talking by movies, and we'll see you on the Brockopp side.